Hey there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. In today's clip, I have an interview we did with the PowerVision team a few weeks ago while we were at CES in Las Vegas. And I'm sorry it's taken me this long to get the clip posted, but I had some major editing challenges around the audio because we decided to bring a brand new high-tech wireless microphone setup with us to the show. And somehow, it never occurred to me that the 8 million other electronic devices that were plugged in at that show and turned on might interfere with that wireless signal. Well, it turns out they do. It's a horrible idea to bring a wireless setup like that to a show that big. Now, I've learned my lesson, so from now on, every show we go to is going to have a wired microphone. But in my defense, we tested that thing like crazy for a couple of weeks, and it worked flawlessly. But when you get to a show like that with thousands of other devices all turned on, wrestling for the same bandwidth, there's bound to be problems. All right, so the challenge we had was that we went to the show the second day, spent about an hour in the booth with the PowerVision team. We met with Craig Glover. He's a friend of the channel. I've known him a long time. He's a really brilliant guy, funny guy, insightful guy, and we got a chance to talk about an hour about different things. Got him on camera for about 15 minutes talking about their current technology, the future of where they're heading with their products, the new product, the new PowerDolphin, and he was really in rare form. He's a fun guy to talk to because he's always got stories about how they've tested it and everything else, and I wish I had that audio, but I got back to the hotel that night, reviewed the footage, and realized the video's perfect, but the audio's choppy and I can't use it. I'm missing more audio than I have, and I'm so frustrated. So I thought, okay, we got a couple of days left. Let's race back to the show tomorrow. We'll talk to Craig and we'll redo what we talked about. Well, he was under the weather the second day, so he wasn't there to do the interview, but I was lucky enough to get some time with a gentleman named Sage Ratterman. Now, first off, what a cool name, right? Sage, that's a great name. But he's a part of the marketing team. But again, smart guy, really funny guy, understands the technology, so I got all the information we need talking to him, and I'm going to show you that in the interview in a second. But I do want to point out a couple of things that are interesting about this company. First off, I love PowerVision. I've known them for a long time. We've tested their products for a couple of years, and if you don't know who they are, shame on you, because I've talked about them a lot on the channel, but they're a company that builds really creative, innovative products for submersibles and water technology. They also build drones. They've got the Power Eye, they've got the Power Egg, they've got a fish finder called the Power Seeker that fits on the bottom of some of their products. So they're in the air, they're underwater, and what's interesting is they're not building products that are clones. A lot of the companies you see out there today see a product that's doing something in the market and they go back to the drawing board and say, how can we build one that looks like that? How can we build something that looks like that that's cheaper that customers will, sort of fall for? These guys aren't like that. They build from the ground up and they spend a lot of time, and you'll hear about it in the clip, on refining their products and improving their products. So with this PowerDolphin product, we saw it last year at CES as a prototype. It was never released. They actually went back to the labs, made some changes to it, changed the fin design on the bottom, some of the propulsion systems, and you'll hear about all that. So I love them because they're hardcore engineers. They're hardcore technology guys that really care about what they're selling and really use the stuff themselves so they understand it. So they make a product here called the Power Ray. I've been swimming with this thing for a couple of years. I love it. It's a fantastic product. And this class of technology, this submersible or underwater robot or underwater drone technology, is a category that's exploding. There's a lot of companies that are jumping into this space. I've reviewed a few other competitors to the product. I have a bunch new product that we're going to talk about in the springtime because this product is something that, for me as a flyer, I love putting a drone up to 200 feet, but if I can get underwater 100 feet, that's even cooler because now I can go up and I can go down at the same time. So putting a product like this underwater with high intensity lights on the front, a 4K camera where I can swim around and explore the bottom, to me is just an exciting thing. So they make this Power Ray product, which has been out for a while, but again, it's not just a submersible product. They took it a step further and said, we're going to build a cool remote. We're also going to build VR goggles. And VR goggles are interesting, but for the goggles to work, the software's got to be able to put that stereoscopic view out there so you can view it through the goggles. So they're doing everything you want for a company like this. And the fact that I can go down underwater, pop these goggles on, and feel like I'm a fish down there swimming around looking at all the stuff that's down there, it just blows my mind. So I love the company. So what we're going to talk about in the interview is their new product called the PowerDolphin. Now the PowerDolphin isn't a submersible. It stays on the surface, but it's really fast. There's no cabling. It's run over Wi-Fi. It'll give you about, I think, 800 meters of distance, which is incredible. It's got all the technology you care about in it. It's 4K camera, and what's even cooler is the 4K camera is on an articulating arm, which means it'll go up 70 degrees above water, so you can put it in the water, swim around and see surfers or skiers or a boat, whatever you want to look at above the water, but it also articulates down below the craft, another 150 degrees below it, so it can actually look behind it. So you can see what's behind you, what's below you. So if you're cruising in water that's really clear, you get a beautiful view, almost like you're snorkeling, of the water underneath you. That's the first part of it. The second part of it, which is really cool, is it's like a fisherman's friend. I'm a lazy guy and I do fish a lot, but imagine having a craft that I can put in the water, hook my line to it, and send it out to the middle of the lake, and then drop my line. I don't have to cast out 200 feet. I can drive this thing out to the middle of the lake, drop my line, and get out there where the big fish are. You can also, if you're fishing for small fish, connect your lure directly up to the back of the unit and just send this thing around and troll around the lake and catch a fish and actually drive it back to the shore. So they've really thought of everything. The other thing that's cool about it, and they'll talk about this in the interview a little bit, is they've got a product called the Power Seeker, which is a sonar ball. It screws into the bottom. So in this guy, there's a cover on there now. You can see that. But if you pop the cover off, you can actually put that Power Seeker on there. It integrates with the software, and it lets me know, it's sort of a fish finder that lets me know where the fish are. So when I'm cruising around and I want to know where to drop the hook, I can see the fish and drop the hook. It's almost cheating, to be honest with you. But with the new PowerDolphin, it's got GPS and waypoints built into it in addition to that sonar. So you can put this thing on a mission to look at a harbor and actually map the underground topology of what's under the water. So they've really gone way beyond just sort of a submersible product. But anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. So some quick specs on the PowerDolphin. 800 meter range, like I'd mentioned. It's got 132 degree field of view, so it's got a very wide field of view. It's got 70 degrees above, 150 degrees below. It's got waypoint mapping, 2-hour batteries on it. It's got a return to home function. So if you send this thing out over the lake, maybe it's a choppy day and you lose it out there, you can't see where it is. You hit one button, it flies or drives all the way back to where you started, and it's right there at the shore for you to pick it up. So I like it a lot. It's got a hook release on the back. It's got a lure release too, so you can put a hook on it, like I mentioned, and drop it in the water if you've got a line on it. It's got a bait container on the back that you can load up with chum, push a button, it'll flip over and actually chum in the area. So it's got everything you want as a fisherman. And I'm thinking, I see a lot of guys down the shore when I'm at the ocean, sort of bait casting out past the breakers. I can't wait to get this thing in my hands in the springtime, bring it down to the shore, hook a line to it, send it out past the breakers, drop the line. And those guys are going to catch all the big fish that are out there 100 yards offshore, 200 yards offshore. So very cool product. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit because I'm really excited about it. We're supposed to get one come in the springtime in a couple of weeks. I'll be testing it on the channel. I'll be swimming with this an awful lot. I can't wait for these lakes to thaw out a little bit. It's sort of the middle of the winter here in Jersey still, so everything's frozen solid. But once those melt, we'll have this thing in the water and we'll be doing a lot of comparisons with this and other products on the market. So if you're interested in this technology at all, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to have a very, very busy spring. I talked to a lot of companies, a lot of new product coming, but I love these guys. So pay attention, enjoy the clip, and if you have any questions at all, anything I've missed, drop it in the comments below. I talk to these guys on a regular basis, so I can get those questions answered for you if there's something specific you need. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Good luck with the clip, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. I'm in the PowerVision booth with Sage Ratterman. How you doing, Sage? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you again, Rick.
Now, normally we interview Craig, but he's out with a tooth infection, apparently. I think he was dodging me, but we have the best guy we simply get in the booth anyway. And we're going to talk about the PowerDolphin today, which is your new product. Now, we saw this last year, I think in a prototype format. Early version.
And this is the real thing.
This is the finished version.
This is actually off of the production line, finished tooling, the stuff that we're ironing out, the little creases and wrinkles before we put it in everyone's hands.
Okay, I love that about your company, and I've said that before. A lot of companies will build a product, slap it together, put it out in the market and hope for the best, right? And then when it gets out there, they got to kind of figure stuff out. I don't like that. No consumer likes to buy a product that's half finished.
When I buy my stuff, I want it to work, right?
Exactly, right. So I'm very happy that you guys delayed the release and you've got engineers working on it. You're taking feedback from guys like me and others to sort of say, we like it, but tweak this or whatever. This looks like a beautiful unit. Now, what's changed specifically on this? Can you tell me?
Absolutely. Actually, one of the most key things, because what this is, a PowerDolphin, it's not an underwater diving unit, it's an on-the-surface vehicle. And on the surface vehicle, we're dealing with water. How does it stay stable? How does it not tip over? How, when you speed up because you're having some fun, do you know it's smooth and it's a great time?
Right.
So, there's two key things. One, we've added this keel, we've widened the hull, we've done a lot of things to really make it a great experience and stable. Right. The other thing we did, and this is more of a software thing, but it's also hardware, is well, what if you want to go jump that wave? And by the way, it does surf waves pretty nicely. But what if you jump it and you slightly mistime it because it's only your second time, right? Fifth time, you'll be a pro. But the second time, it swamps and it's lying on its back like that.
Right, you're in trouble.
Well, are you going to wade out there?
No.
Well, it'll automatically, with no effort from you, as soon as it's on its back, move around and boom.
Oh, that's clever.
Flip back right over.
That's clever.
100% of the time. On Monday, I went and did this over at a pond near here, and 11 times in a row, boom. It takes like 30 seconds.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That's real. So, those are significant changes we made.
Okay. the connection topology is Wi-Fi. How far, roughly?
So we're saying about 1 kilometer, 1,000 meters.
That's more than enough, because I'll lose that in the water that far out.
And that's a visibility thing. A key thing with wireless on water versus wireless in the air, which we're all familiar with, is the Earth's curved.
Right.
So the further it goes away from you, you get that curvature in your way. So this is our same technology in the Power Egg, which gives you many, many kilometers.
Right.
But here, we're getting less.
Right.
But also, Earth's curvature means it's not only because the white and the gray will sometimes blend with water, it's because you actually physically lose sight of it.
Right.
So yes, you really need about 500-600 feet is where most of your use is.
Well, I see this as, for me anyway, for the use case would be, if I'm a fisherman, I may want to drag a line out to the middle of a lake and drop it, and I'll talk about that release in a second. But also, if I'm a fisherman in the ocean, those guys try to bait cast out, they get out 50 feet, they're getting the small fish. You want to get out 100 yards to get the big fish. I'd put this thing on the ground, put it in the water, send it out with my lure, drop the lure, bring it home, so I'm going out and coming back. It's now my robot fisher, right, to get it out in the water. I don't know if I would fish with it, but yeah.
Well, it'll catch some smaller fish.
That's what I'm
thinking. Do think about the size and here.
An open fish would drag that to China at that point.
You're not going to be getting tuna and selling them at the Tsukiji fish market in Japan for $3 million with
right,
it, unfortunately.
All right.
But the neat thing you will be doing with it, using the boat example, is what if you're going along the Everglades or similar areas with shallow water? Do you go further? How do you know that it's deep enough out there?
Right.
So we have a sonar that goes in down here that's a great boat aid or a great curiosity.
I've actually used your first version of that as well, because it was on the Power Array.
Yep.
And it does a real good job of showing you rough topography under the water and fish schools. So you see little blips and stuff of the fish. That's perfect for scouting those locations out. So if you're at a lake and you're not sure, is that corner a good place to throw a hook? Good way to go, right?
Absolutely. Well, it's a good way to go from a fishing perspective, but it's actually really entertaining, particularly when you get schools of fish where it's like 5 or 20 or 100. Right. It's like, really, there's that much in my simple little pond or lake? Or if you're fortunate down in Cancun, holy cow.
So, all right, so the fishing part of it's exciting to me, but beyond just that is the camera aspects of it, right? I love the fact that I can position the camera for above the water viewing if I'm skiing or all that kind of stuff, all the water sports, but then it also has a unique mechanism for spinning down and underneath and looking below.
Yep.
So that arm will pivot down underneath, and I can actually look below and underneath the actual craft.
It's amazing. You can get an easy 3 to 10 feet in mildly clear water. You know, it gets less clear and more of a problem.
Sure.
But you get some great visibility. And there's actually 2 things here. One is the fact that it angles down and it gives you that view. But the other thing is, as we all know, cameras are not all equal. Right. Cell phones have taught us that. Apple does some amazing things with, seems like the same camera, and it's 100 times better this year.
It's incredible, yeah.
So a little secret. Maybe not that secret.
All right. It won't be secret for long because we're on the channel.
Yeah, okay. You're all our friends. Just come buy our product. Our camera team is in Finland.
Okay.
The reason they're in Finland is because we took a bunch of the best Nokia engineers. And the camera on this thing is, this is where I use a bunch of expletives. Just absolutely amazing.
Oh, those Finnish guys are good on cameras. I know that.
Well, they're pedantic. They're detail-oriented. They know their stuff.
They do.
And this camera is so phenomenal. So you, above the water, you're catching amazing footage. Under the water, likewise, because it's so well tuned. The image processor, the lens, but the software tuning is just, anyhow, sorry, it's good as you can tell.
So it's all processing behind the lens that's really making a difference for you.
Oh,
and that's
God.
tricky. Right? Going underwater is a whole different
animal.
Well,
yeah, think about above the water versus under the water. Not the same thing, is it?
Everything's different down there.
So that's a lot of it.
Let's talk more about the tech, because that's really what gets me excited. So on the back end of the business end of this, lure release, drop the hook wherever I want and bring this back to shore.
Exactly.
Okay. Fantastic.
So really, this is fishing, it's fun, it's inspection, it's a whole range of uses depending on who you are. But I actually want to, before I talk more about this, I want to go back to the propeller. You noted something interesting. On the Power Array, we used solid blocks of stainless steel machined down to a propeller so they can chew up pondweed, really make do of what's stuff on the bottom. These we're making out of a very durable plastic and all this so it can hold up, but we wanted it lightweight because it's completely different propulsion. Hydrodynamics really improve how it's cutting through the water and really zip. So we actually had to completely change our philosophy, which is fascinating because you compare this to that, it's like we're a completely different company.
So it's sold in 3 versions, right? The basic unit that I can swim with my phone, and then I can get it with the fish with a remote. That's the second package. Then I get the all-in package where I get this, the fish finder, the remote, and the bait drop. Okay. So pricing.
Target price is $9.99. Under $1,000, you get the Dolphin and a remote, a physical remote to control it.
Nice.
You can get it without the remote for $849.
Okay. The all-in package, $11.99?
$10.99.
$100 discount. There you go. So that seems like a pretty good deal.
Just for your followers, Rick, of
Thanks.
course.
Well, there you go. Get a coupon. So I think what's so cool about this is if I'm an avid fisherman, I don't have to drag my boat, my mini boat or whatever out to the lake. I'm a lazy guy. I go there with a launcher. I throw this in the lake. I'm off fishing. And if I'm going for small fish, I hook one. Maybe I even bring it back to shore. There's Rick in his chair just remotely controlling my my fish hook out in the lake.
Exactly.
I love it. It almost seems unfair to the fish because I got a camera looking at them as they're taking a bait.
You know what's also unfair to the fish? They get a warning. It takes you time to drag your boat out there. With this, you're going to find out pretty soon, Rick.
Up on 'em.
It takes you literally minutes to launch this and get it in there, so you're hunting those poor fishies before they know what happened to them.
This is sweet. All right, so I have to ask you the last question, which is really important. I'm going to try and distract you because this is going home with us. I know that won't happen because you'll tackle
monkey?
You'll tackle me.
Okay.
But the minute this thing's ready, I got to get one on the channel to review because these guys love this technology, and I want to make sure I give you a fair shot at talking about it and getting out swimming it. So
I just hope you have a bigger place in your swimming pool this time, Rick. This thing's a kick to get out there.
no, we'll have it in the ocean. We'll have it out in the bay, I promise.
Good,
So we'll get a lot of fishing. All right, thank you so much for the time today. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.